Hello, welcome to another episode. This time I'm going to be talking about the Minolta SR-1s. I took this camera and I went to Seville with it. I didn't have any plans when I brought this camera. I just thought I'm going to shoot an episode on the street. It's going to be fun. But then walking around Seville, I thought it didn't make much sense. Like, I took some pictures in Seville and it was nice, but it's mostly like small streets and it was winter, even though winter in Sevilla is not really winter, but it was kind of cloudy. It was really relaxed, so it didn't feel like much stuff was happening. So I thought it was much better to just have some kind of portrait session. So I asked on Instagram if somebody could help me, and Pablo was kind enough to write me back on Instagram and said, hey, I have this friend, her name is Clara, and I always take pictures with her, it will be really cool. Would you be interested? And I was like, hell yeah, of course I am. So Pablo, Clara, and I went around Sevilla taking pictures with this camera, and I also brought some Kodak film, which is supposedly a 200 ASA, but you have to shoot it at 50 to make it work properly. So I was shooting at 50 with this camera, with a 50mm 1.7 and a 24 f2, and it was quite fun actually. Clara is not a professional model, she's just a funny, smart girl who wants to have some pictures taken, and Pablo is her friend, so they both just offered some help, and that's what we did. We had some awesome time walking around Sevilla and taking pictures. It was great. Here are the pictures. I'm gonna show it to you right away, but before, it was interesting for me, the fact that shooting around with this camera made me realize how bad I am with reflex cameras, because it's obvious that I'm so used to rangefinders. Some pictures are completely out of focus, or I'm focusing on the background and I'm just failing miserably. So just cut me some slack, dude. Just don't evaluate like how awesome the focusing is or whatever. Just enjoy the episode and I'll see you at the end of it. ¿Sí? ¿Estás grabando? Muy bien. Hola, ¿qué tal? Estamos los tres, Clara, Pablo detrás de la cámara, y yo estamos en Sevilla. Muy amorosamente se han ofrecido para hacer una sesión de fotos, así que vamos a sacar unas fotos acá en el patio de los Naranjos.
Sí, creo que se llama así.
Creo que no me citen en esto, puede que
muy
no sea
buenos
correcto.
Sevillanos somos.
Pero vamos a sacar unas fotos acá y vamos a ir caminando por Sevilla, no por toda Sevilla, por algunas calles. Uno. Bien. Eso. Muchas gracias. ¿Por qué estoy dando las gracias? Gracias por ver el capítulo. Muchas gracias, Clara, por prestarte para esto. Y si quieren seguirla, por favor, en su Instagram, que es
Clara Martín B.
Igual voy a colocar la dirección abajo, así que no se preocupen. Y también a Pablo, si lo quieren seguir, su Instagram es
Pablo.wifi.
Muy bien, también voy a colocar la dirección abajo, así que lo pueden seguir. Y eso, muchas gracias por todo y nada, bacán.
Encantado.
So that was the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the Minolta SR-1s. Is it a good camera? Yes, it is a fun camera. It's a great camera which has no light meter and you have to do everything yourself. So what I was doing is just carrying around my cell phone and using some free app. This is the app I'm currently using. It's called AS Light Meter and it's really easy to use and it's free, so I highly recommend it. It's a really fun camera to use. There's not much to say about it. It's super simple. There's just shutter speed on top of it. They go from bulb to 1000 and the aperture is up here, and that's all there is to it. There's not much to it actually. There's no info on the viewfinder. It's not exactly a split screen viewfinder. I don't know the name of this. I should know the name, but I don't. This camera doesn't have a split screen viewfinder. It has one of those viewfinders where everything looks kind of granulated, and then at the center, when it's in focus, it looks fine. It's not the most comfortable system for focusing in the world. I'm not a big fan of this. Actually, I don't like it that much, but it's not terrible. Maybe you can grow accustomed to it. It's a problem for me because my eyes are not really good, so I'm using glasses, as you can probably tell. And for me, rangefinders are much easier to focus than this type of focusing viewfinders. But if you don't use glasses or you're used to that, maybe it can be quite comfortable actually. It's super easy to use. It looks quite durable. It's made out of metal mostly. The shutter is satisfying. Kind of noisy, but it gives like an old school feeling, so I like it. Especially the rewinding lever is super satisfying because it just winds so easily. I wish my Leica M3 were this easy. I don't know, it's really satisfying. The rewinding knob is really cool. To open it, you just lift this and then just open the back, and here it is. Works perfectly. The camera has a cloth shutter, so when you take a picture, you just wind it back, and that's how it works. It's a mixture of plastic and metal. Like these parts are made of plastic, but the camera itself is made out of, I guess, aluminum or metal. I'm not quite sure, but it feels durable. The lens is so nice. This is a Rokkor PF 50mm 1.7, and as you can tell by the pictures, the background is just melted. It looks awesome. It gives you like a nice sense of depth. Almost like a 3D image. It's super cool. Like this lens looks amazing and it works like a charm on this camera. So if you happen to find this camera with this lens around on the internet, which there are several copies of, I will highly recommend you trying it if you're looking for a manual camera without light meter. This camera doesn't have a hot shoe. as you can tell, but there are some attachments that you put right here in the viewfinder and then you screw it, and it can hold a flash. So you put the flash on top of it and then you connect it here through the PC sync. So if you want to use your flashes with this camera, you can get one of those attachments. I don't know how common they are. If you want to try a flash with this, you might want to purchase one that has a cold shoe. So that's a thing to remember. As always, this camera goes to one of my patrons. It already has an owner because I already did the raffle. So congratulations to the winner of this camera. And if you want to participate in the raffles, I give cameras away every month. I also give away films, and I give away some stuff and add some extra content on my Patreon. So if you want to be part of that, maybe you'll be interested, just link in the description and you will find all the information you need to become my Patreon, and then we can all have fun there. And I guess that's it. I have nothing else to say. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week with another one. So until then, just keep shooting, guys.